after the break, you're watching our special show on the lives of disabled people in India. According to estimates, India has 1.5 million spinal cord injury survivors whose mortality rate is much higher than people with other disabilities. In most cases, these people are partially or fully paralyzed, and the healthcare and rehabilitation needed by them is expensive and available at only select centers across India. APD's Spinal Cord Rehabilitation Center aims to change things for better.
In India, there are only 9 centers that offer therapies and facilities aimed at rehabilitation of people with spinal cord injuries. Most of these focus only on medical complications. It's a super specialized field of medicine and naturally is expensive. For most people from rural India and for those belonging to socio-economically marginalized sections of society who suffer from such injuries, the treatment is pretty much out of reach, both in terms of cost and in terms of access. To solve this problem, APD has come up with what it is called the court-to-community approach. This APD center has programs which aims to train socio-economically backward persons with spinal cord injuries to take care of themselves even though they may be suffering from paralysis and find suitable livelihoods. Many of these inmates here go on to become trainers at the facility, giving hope to new arrivals.
In India, there are more than 1.5 million people have been affected by spinal cord injury. And every year, this number adds to 20,000 to 15,000 people has been added every year to this population. Most of this population come from the poor socio-economic background, and also most of them come from the rural background. Spinal cord injury is considered to be one of the most costliest ailment. The reason being, after the injury, below the level of the injury, they actually have a paralysis. Not only paralysis of the motor and the sensory control of the body, they also have paralysis of the bladder and bowel. And also the secondary complications are huge. Our comprehensive rehabilitation addresses almost all the gamuts of disability, either it be physical disability, the social disability where they cannot able to include to the society, and the psychosocial rehabilitation, which is something very important for people with spinal cord injury. So we address the issues comprehensively and ensure that they can able to be independent either in the wheelchair or with the assistance of aids and appliances, they can able to actually move around functionally independent.
The end goal, however, is not about giving patients a way to exist and earn, but to really live. Murthy Naran Babu is testament to this vision. In 2015, at the age of 21, Naveen was working at a construction site in Kuwait when a wall fell on him. He has very little recollection of the event as he slipped into a coma for 3 months. Naveen stayed at the hospital for 8 months before coming back to his home in Andhra Pradesh. He says he was tired of being dependent on others for everything. He felt he was a burden on his family until he heard about APD through a friend. Today, Naveen is actually living a life as close to a normal person as possible.
ఇక్కడ నేను వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాను ప్రీటైనర్గా అండ్ తర్వాత వచ్చేసి ఈవినింగ్ టైం జొమాటో కూడా చేస్తాను, జొమాటో డెలివరీ బాయ్గా. సో అక్కడ పార్ట్ టైం జాబ్ చేస్తున్నాను. అండ్ ఈ వీకెండ్స్ వచ్చేసి నేను సాటర్డే సండే ప్రాక్టీస్కి వెళ్తాను. రెండు మేనేజ్ చేస్తాను. ఫైనాన్స్ ప్రాబ్లం కూడా 2 మెయింటైన్ చేస్తున్నాను. అండ్ మంత్లీ ఇంటికి వెళ్తాను, పేరెంట్స్కి వెళ్తాను. అక్కడ మంత్లీ పెన్షన్ అమౌంట్ కలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని వస్తాను. అండ్ మంత్లీ వెళ్ళేది బై ట్రైన్ వెళ్తాను ఇక్కడ నుంచి. అండ్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఆటో ఎక్కి మెట్రో టు రైల్వేస్టేషన్కి వెళ్తాను. రైల్వేస్టేషన్ అలోన్ సింగిల్గా వెళ్తాను. ఆంధ్ర టు బెంగళూరు టు ఆంధ్ర.
Naveen's zeal combined with the treatment and therapy he has received has also helped him win multiple national level medals in archery. He won a bronze in the 3rd National Field Archery Online E-Championship 2022, a silver in the 6th Karnataka State Level Indoor Archery Championship 2022, and gold in the senior category Bear Bow 5 spot at the 13th National Field Indoor Archery Competition in 2022 in Bhopal, beating able-bodied archers. Naveen is not stopping at that. He has also learned swimming and plans to visit the Sabrimala temple in Kerala all by himself.
నాకున్నది లాస్ట్కి ఆర్చరీ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఆడాలని, ఒలింపిక్స్కి వెళ్ళాలని అది డ్రీమ్ ఉంది. బట్ అది ఫిల్ చేసానికి ఇక్కడ పార్ట్ టైం జాబ్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడ జాబ్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. అండ్ ఆర్చరీ అండ్ స్విమ్మింగ్ ఆల్సో చేస్తున్నాను. స్విమ్మింగ్ వచ్చేసి ఆర్చరీకి స్ట్రెంత్ సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుందని అప్పర్ బాడీ స్ట్రెంత్ కోసం స్విమ్మింగ్ కూడా చేస్తున్నాను. నెక్స్ట్ నేషనల్కి స్విమ్మింగ్ ట్రై చేస్తున్నాను వచ్చినప్పుడు వెళ్ళాలా. అండ్ 2 కంటే బాస్కెట్బాల్ లేదు అండ్ ఆర్చరీ, ఓన్లీ ఫోకస్ ఆర్చరీ.
APD's life cycle approach helps people with disabilities learn life skills that help them pick up jobs and become independent. The program identifies their interest areas like hospitality, retail, agri-farming and horticulture. 42% of the disabled people from APD's livelihood program now earn more than 10,000 rupees per month. 97% of these beneficiaries were below the poverty line before they came to APD. Like 28-year-old Prathama, who was born with multiple physical disabilities. She had to go through numerous surgeries just to be able to perform daily chores. Her mother Nalini is always by her side and hopes that Prathama will one day be able to live independently. Already, Prathama has passed her college exams and is being trained for a cashier's job in the retail sector. Nalini says even though people often can't see past her daughter's disabilities, she has faith in her daughter's abilities.
ಅವಳಿಗೆ 4 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗೋ ತನಕ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಥರನೇ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿತ್ತು. 4 ವರ್ಷದ ನಂತರ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಸುರಿಯಾಯಿತು, ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ಆದ ನಂತರ ಬಾಯಿದ್ದು ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಬಾಯಿದ್ದು ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಿತ್ತವಳದು. ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಜರಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಷ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಿತ್ತು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಲು. ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೆ ನಾವು. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ರಜೆ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಆನಂತರ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಸಹ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವರ್ಷ, ಇದು 2 ಬೆರಳು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು 2 ಬೆರಳು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ, ಹೀಗೆ 4-5 ವರ್ಷ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲಲ್ಲೇ ಆಯಿತು. ಆನಂತರ ಆವಾಗ ಅವಳಿಗೆ 10 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು. ಆನಂತರ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ್ತಾ ಬಂದ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ 1 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅವಳ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇವಳು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಲು. ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇದ್ಲು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ. ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾದರೂ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ಲು. ಇವಳು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು APDಗೆ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಇವರ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಏನೂ ಕೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅವರ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅವರವರೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ.
Life of the physically disabled is tough, but the people with intellectual disabilities, the challenges are far harder and much more complex. Because of these deficiency in cognitive abilities, these people are often not considered fit for most white-collar jobs. NGO AMBA is out to prove these people wrong. It leverages technology to help people with intellectual disabilities perform back-office data entry tasks for various industries and even for entities like the Bombay Stock Exchange.
The 30% of the intellectually disabled community that we serve have had no opportunity whatsoever. They've been born with a stigma. And people look at them so differently. So we had to find a way for these people to get impacted positively. And the only way that I could see this happening was using technology. So at the outset, we realized that these young adults with intellectual disability had no capacity to complete schooling. They could not go and coexist within mainstream work environments. And our entire focus was to bring change not just to the urban India, but at a majority rural India. So today what AMBA has done is we've taken technology, we use technology, we've generated a copyrighted curriculum which works around pattern recognition and enables these young men and women to do back-end work for companies using the computer functionally. So they don't use it like you and I. They use it functionally. Our young men and women were doing data processing and audit of supporting documents for telecommunications, for insurance, for research, market research companies.
There's no doubt that organizations like these are helping India take huge strides towards the inclusion and assimilation of disabled persons into society and having a big impact in thousands of lives. From online delivery partners to back-end data entry operators, from athletes representing India on an international stage to aspiring doctors, these organizations have proved that disability is in the eyes of the beholder, and that with the right support and approach, nothing is impossible for people who are differently abled. The Supreme Court has also recognized this and set up a special cafe called Mitti Cafe on its premises a cafe that's run by the differently-abled and whose purpose is to reduce the invisibility this section of society is subject to.
The work that these organizations are doing is changing the lives of lakhs of people in India and giving hope to a section of society that is either ignored or abandoned. They're showing us how we can look at people's ability rather than judging them for their disability. And that is changing India in the true sense. Thank you for watching.